G'day and welcome to Down Under, coming to you from the fantastic southeast corner of South Australia. In today's show, we're going to focus on the Blue Lake. And with me is Gary Turner. Gary's the owner-manager of Aquifer Tours here at the Blue Lake. Welcome to Down Under, Gary.
How are you, Brenton?
I'm good, thanks, mate.
Beautiful day today.
It's a beautiful day, glorious day. Listen, can you tell me some of the history, like the human history of the Blue Lake, like as in who discovered it?
Well, the first European to set sight on the lake was Stephen Henty in 1839 when he was moving some cattle across and stumbled across this, so he thought he'd set up home bases here, but he got moved on because settlers and squatters' rights don't exist in South Australia at the time. So that's the beginning of the human side.
Yes.
But then we started to settle a town as Mount Gambier, and of course then the water became our lifeblood for our town.
Well, that's right. And was this the first water supply for the Mount Gambier?
Well, originally it came from the cave gardens, very first up. But as the town grew, they needed something a little bit more established, so that's when we decided to build this pumping station here and extract water from the lake.
And what year was that they started to build the pumping station?
Well, we started pumping here from 1883.
Wow. That's going back a fair while, Gary.
Well, yeah, a little bit now, but it's proved its worth, and here we are in 2016 and still going strong.
And have we changed it at all?
Well, we have. Technology's moved forward. We've got electric pumps and it's all computer programmed, where in the early days it was all steam powered. So we've gone a long way.
Yes. Fantastic, Gary. Now, look, just tell me something about the Blue Lake and its pristine water.
Well, the water is entered from the limestone. It travels between 1 and 14 metres per annum through the limestone, so it's very clean. And it's rainfall from years gone by, so it takes literally hundreds, if not thousands of years to get to the Blue Lake. So exceptionally clean. When you go down on a tour, you look into the water and it's just so clear. It's stunning, absolutely stunning.
Stunning, eh? That's a good word. I like that, Gary. But how deep is the lake, really?
Well,
I've heard, sorry
to
cut you off, but I've heard that it's bottomless.
Well, it has a bottom. If it didn't have a bottom, the water would fall out. But about 70 metres deep. There is myth that there could be some caves going there, possibly as far as 200 metres, but not much known about them. Too deep, too dangerous, but essentially 70 metres deep.
Wow, okay. Yes, okay. Now look, what about the size of the lake itself, Gary?
The size, well, from where we're sitting at the moment, it's about 600 metres across to the other side of the lake. It's about a kilometre left to right. So walking trail around the top, you're looking about 3.6 kilometres.
Wow.
So it's relatively large.
Yes, it is. How much water does it hold, Gary?
Well, around 30,000 megalitres or 30,000 million litres at the moment.
Litres, 30,000 million litres.
That's a lot of cartons if you line that up for milk.
I reckon, yeah. How was it replenished?
Well, it's rainfall pretty much within a 30k radius of Mount Gambier, and that'll percolate down through the soil to our limestone aquifer, and it travels in a typical north-south direction. And because the Blue Lake is an exposure of that water table. So.
Yes, and I suppose it'd be going down towards the sea, to sea level, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
And you get exposure to that from little areas like the Little Blue Lake, Piccaninny Ponds, Ewan's Ponds, 8 Mile Creek, etc.
Okay, excellent. Now you talk about the Buandic Aboriginal people on your tour.
Yes.
How are they connected with the lake, Gary?
Well, this is special to us. I'm sure it's very special to the Aboriginal people as well. But they have a fantastic story about Cratebull, who was a mythical warrior of the time, and how he developed all these camp ovens around the area. And of course they filled with water and put the fires out. But
and you talk about that on your tour, don't you?
We do that on the tour. There's a story there, and it is a good story. But you'll have to come along on the tour sometime, and we'll go into a bit more detail.
Okay, very good. Now, what time of year does it become blue?
Well, typically it changes colour around the middle of November and hold its colour through around March, April the following year, depending on how the season performs. So we're here at the best time of year, and it is, as I said earlier, just stunning.
Yes. Now, so the best time to come and see, for people to come and see the Blue Lake is from the start of November through to the end of March. Have I got that right?
Absolutely correct.
Okay, excellent. Very, very good, Gary. Hey, listen, you know, what else do you talk about on your tour?
We sort of look at it in chronological order with the Aboriginal dreaming story and,
Yes.
and European settlement and then discovery by Grant when he sailed by and named the area.
That was in what year?
1800.
1800.
Yeah,
Wow. That's a long time back.
is for us. We're only pups, aren't we, in the
I
system?
reckon,
Yeah.
yes, we are. So 1800, Lieutenant James Grant, you said,
Yes.
sailed past this area, did he?
Yes.
And did he get off the boat and come and check out the water, or?
No. He initially thought that there were islands here, and because you could see the high features such as Mount Shank and Mount Gambier,
Yeah.
and he named them, but essentially just kept on going. But plotted them on the map, named them, and moved on.
Okay, so he didn't make landfall.
No, not here.
And it was Stephen Henty that you said came over land,
Yes.
and he was the one that discovered it.
Yeah, he came from Portland, Victoria,
Yes.
and was driving cattle and sheep across.
Okay.
And that's when he found it. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Well, Gary, I just wanted to ask you a final question.
Sure.
Now, when we're finished doing the tour, can we pop into your coffee shop and buy a coffee and some souvenirs, can we?
Absolutely. And we've got coffee and homemade biscuits, blue lemonade.
Blue lemonade.
Blue lemonade that maybe some people might think we fill the lake up with blue lemonade, but not quite the case.
Not quite the case.
But the souvenirs, a lot of homemade features there and trinkets,
Yep.
and a lot of locally made stuff, and that's what we've tried to do.
That's good, yes.
Try to keep with that if we can.
Yes, excellent. Good to hear, mate. Good to hear. Well, look, it's been great to have you on the Down Under show.
Thank you for
The
inviting me.
Down Under show.
Thanks for inviting me along.
No, it's great. It's really good to Gary. Thanks
Cheers.
very much for mate.
Cheers. Thanks, Brenton.
And we're going to go to our footage of the Admella documentary that we created some time back. Now, last week, in the last episode, we actually played the end of the doco with the song and film clip. But now we're going to start with the start of the documentary. So I told you that we're going to continue the saga. Here is the saga. My name is Ben Germain. I'm the keeper of the lighthouse on Cape Northumberland in the far southeast corner of South Australia. Along this stretch of coast lies a rocky reef, submerged beneath the waves a short mile offshore. It was on Carpenter Rocks that we found the remains of the steamship Admella with a live cargo of passengers and crew. Captain Hugh McEwen believed his ship to be at least 16 miles offshore, when in fact, during the foggy night, they'd been steered onto the reef by that strong southerly current that surges in towards the shore.
Well, the good ship Admella was built in Glasgow in 1857, and she was purpose-built and sailed out to Australia to support the growing need for a better transportation of goods and passengers between the three southern cities of Adelaide, Melbourne and Launceston. Hence her name, because the first two letters of Adelaide, Melbourne and Launceston, Admella, formed her name. She was a state-of-the-art design for her time and was considered by most mariners to be probably the best ship of her class to be built up to that point. She was fast. She could make 20 knots if she needed to. She could carry up to 500 tonnes of cargo, and she had comfortable cabins for nearly 100 passengers.
And the Admella was specially built for that line of bringing passengers down. It recorded on its first trip the fastest journey that had ever been done by a liner, and it was the most up-to-date of any liners that was built, so especially built for the area.
But most of all, she was considered to be the safest ship afloat at the time. And this was largely because of a rather new innovation of that era, that she had 3 watertight compartments built into her hull. 1 forward, 1 midships and 1 aft. So that it was thought that if one of those compartments became holed, the other 2 would keep her afloat while repairs were made to that particular damaged part. This, however, didn't prove to be the case.
They just never would have thought that it was going to be wrecked.
On the morning of the 5th of August, 1859, when she was on her voyage from Adelaide to Melbourne, she struck a reef near Carpenter's Rocks. And within 15 minutes, she had broken into 3 separate sections, parting at the seams where the rivets were in line from the bottom of the keel to the top of the gunwale. Very sad. This left some passengers and crew on each of the 3 sections hopelessly stranded to face the mountainous seas and the pounding waves. And their stories of tragedy and bravery are now unfolding.
Captain McEwen later confided that he was suspicious of nothing. He'd been up on deck during the last watch, and as far as he was concerned, all was well. Mind you, he is a cautious man. Shortly after he returned to his cabin, he said the Admella gave a slight roll. It was not sufficient to cause anyone great alarm. But within seconds, a heavy swell had lifted her on the reef. He said she glided 20 or 30 feet and came to rest. For a moment she lay still. They could hear the breakers crashing over the reef. The waves immediately took control of the vessel, and within minutes she fell on her beam ends, broke into 3 pieces and lay on an angle of about 45 degrees. The captain said there was chaos. Already, passengers and crew had been swept away and drowned by the waves that broke over the ship. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little snippet. We're going to continue the saga of the wreck of the Admella in the next episode of Down Under, Down Under. Now look, if that's not enough to make you want to come and visit us, maybe this will be. The Customs House at Port MacDonnell, now a beautifully restored guest house. With me today is its proprietor, Grant Fensom. Welcome to Down Under, Down Under,
Brenton.
Grant.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Excellent.
And
excellent.
you going well?
We are going fantastic, mate.
Excellent, good to hear. Now look, you've got a beautiful accommodation down there.
Oh, very much so.
It's very, very beautiful. I've seen the footage of the accommodation. It's beautiful, and but look, we've got some historical photos that we want to show the viewers.
Sure.
Can you talk us through those photos,
Yeah,
please?
certainly, mate, certainly.
Thank you.
That's basically back in the first years that it was built, 1863. That's actually a photo from in the first 3 or 4 years in where actually my bedroom is. That's in the early 60s, the boatyard that's now shifted from outside our place. It's been moved. Early 1900s, I know where that one was, way before my time. That's shown the backyard before it was developed into what it is today. And that's probably in the early 70s when it was used as a private residence.
Okay.
At some stage, it actually got taken over by the police fully. And in the 1970s and 80s, we had quite a few celebrations for the centenary of the state and also our town. So it's had a lot of uses and photos been taken quite recently, which is great.
You said it was a police station. Were
That's
there
correct.
any criminals locked up in there? And
I'm quite sure there's been many criminals locked up in those 4 jail cells out the back.
oh, 4 jail
We've got
cells.
4 jail cells, so anyone that doesn't behave themselves, they get the treatment.
Okay. And were there any kind of hangings or anything there?
Unofficially, I believe there actually has been.
Really?
The court documents don't show it in quite the light that we like to know about, but yeah, there is some unofficial documents and people's stories, I'm sure, that yes, we've had a few down our way.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's go to the footage now of the Customs House at Port Macdonald, and you can tell us, Grant, where is Port Macdonald in relation to Mount Gambier?
Well, look, Port Mac's about a 20k or 20-minute drive south around the Blue Lake, where we're sitting in front of today.
Yeah.
You go down, go past Mount Shank, which is a great another dormant volcano,
Yes.
and you are basically another 5 minutes away from the seaside town of Port Macdonald,
Right.
the crayfishing mecca of the world.
Excellent, excellent. Crayfish mecca of the world. Wow, this is beautiful, Grant.
Look, we've been able to tastefully keep everything as it was,
Yes.
or improved it back to its original condition. Some of the rooms, that's actually the old post office there, because we wanted to restore it along the same lines as the people before us, getting it back to what it was, keeping it
Yeah.
simple, but doing it very elegantly and tastefully, and trying to get the information on how it was, because it's had its changes.
Yes.
You're 150 years old now, so
Well,
it
that's
would have
right.
had some changes in
Major
its time.
changes, yes. That's beautiful, mate. And I see you've got some modern furniture in there.
We've tried to modernise it, but keep it very sophisticated but simple. Like, the rooms are simple.
Yes.
But the decor, what we put in there is quality stuff, and to give people that luxurious feel, but very much in a historical building.
And it's practical too, isn't it?
Very practical. We've got 2 apartments. One can sleep 5, one can sleep 6.
Okay, so 2 apartments.
2 apartments.
Yep. And we're looking at the post office
That's
now.
correct.
This
That's
is
the little
one
kitchenette
apartment.
in the post office. They're fully self-contained, mate.
Yeah.
The great thing is they're not, not far from each other inside the building. That you can be quite separate, but you can also mingle with each other if you want to be a part of a whole group of people getting away for a weekend.
Okay, this is your
This is the courthouse.
courthouse.
This is going back to those days where when people weren't doing the right thing, they would come into this room, be dealt with by the local JP, and
Yeah.
out to the jail cells, I suppose. These are just some of the sitting areas we've got. The views we've got now are impeccable. It's getting better and better all the time, what's being
Yes.
done in our town. So
Yes.
we've got a brilliant view, unobstructed,
Yeah.
fishing fleet in front of us. What else could you ask for, mate?
Yeah, that's right. What else could you ask for?
I don't know what else you could ask
I'll tell
for.
you what. What's your rates, mate?
Look, they're $270 a night.
$270 a night.
Includes your
Great.
breakfast, includes some beer and wine and other goodies.
Brilliant.
We believe quite reasonable. And actually, we've been told by quite a lot of people too cheap, but we believe in what we've got, and we'd love to see
Where are we
plenty
up
of
to
people.
now, mate? Where are we
This
up
is
to?
actually the bathroom in the the police station.
All right.
So yes, the police station's been converted as well into a B&B.
Beautiful. And this is the courtyard,
This is
is
the
it?
courtyard. We do a lot of functions as well out here, but this is where you can park, relax, take in the sun. Even on a cool winter's day, it's actually a lovely spot to sit out and read a book, collect your thoughts, or just relax.
Yes.
Get away from it all.
Yeah. No, that's really good, Grant. That's excellent. I love that.
Yeah,
Looks
we're very
really
impressed
good.
to be able to be a custodian of such a wonderful building, like the one we're in front of now, the pumping station. It's no
Yes.
different. They're wonderful pieces of architecture.
Well, that's right. Yes.
Been kept very well, and we just feel like we're very lucky to be a part of it.
Yes. Excellent, Grant. Excellent. Well, look, thank you very much for coming on the show. We must say too that the Aquifer tours, they run all year round actually. So I just wanted to say that because we forgot about that when we were
talking about it, weren't
we
we?
were
Yes.
talking about it. Yes, yeah. But look, that's really great, Grant, and I really like your accommodation down there. It's beautiful, I think.
We do appreciate those sort of comments, and we had some people only stay quite recently, like last night, that couldn't get over what they could do within 5 minutes walk or with half an hour's drive
Yeah.
of where they were.
Yes.
It's just so much we've got to do and see here.
That's right. Well, there are 1,000 known caves and sinkholes in our area, and counting.
And
as you
I was going to
keep
say,
saying.
and counting.
And counting. And, we've got pristine water, we've got a beautiful yet dramatic coastline,
Very much so.
and as proven by the wreck of the Admella. But there's no place in the world quite like our area,
There isn't.
the southeast corner of South Australia.
We've got it all, mate. And
We've
some.
got it all, exactly right. Look, we're going to leave you now with some footage of the Blue Lake, and we'll catch you next time on the Down Under Show. See you later.
Bye.